And joining me now is Amanda Ogle herself, along with Seattle Times columnist Danny Westneat, whose article about Amanda first gained traction more than 7 years ago. Thank you to you both for being here. I watched the film last night. Amazing. I want to start with you. Rose Byrne plays you in this film, and she was actually even up for an Oscar over the weekend, which is wild. How does it feel to have your story portrayed now on the big screen?
I'm quite surprised that it actually happened in the first place. Thanks to my lawyer, ex-lawyer, now great friend, Kevin Eggers, contacted Danny, and if it wasn't for Danny, this all wouldn't be happening. So it's nuts.
I love it. It is nuts. Danny, your article for the Seattle Times basically started it all back in 2018. What was the response like to that article when you think back to that time?
Well, there was a lot of response to how outrageous it was. That, it was kind of an accident that they towed a homeless woman's car who was living in it. So they basically towed her home. But then once the towing companies learned that, they still kept the car for a year, and she had to move to a homeless shelter in the U District, a women's shelter. And so there was a lot of outrage, but then I don't know if you guys read your comments at King 5. When I read my comments, they're usually, pretty hostile at me or whatever. And I remember the comments on this one. They were like, "You go, girl.
Yes.
You're a fighter. Way to fight against the man," And so I just felt like, wow, this is unusual. And so I think that's what Hollywood ended up noticing,
Oh, absolutely. And Amanda, at what point were you approached about this movie, about your story? And did you think when they did approach you, like, this is fake, this is not real?
Like I said, after the article came out that Danny had written, Jonathan Kesey, a screenwriter, read it, and he called my lawyer, Kevin, and said, "Hey, I want to make a movie." And Kevin and I were just kind of laughing. It's like, are you kidding me? So, yeah.
It doesn't seem
great.
real.
Yeah.
You're the true definition, though, of the word resilient. You never gave up when you were faced by so many roadblocks in the legal system and the tow company. So what really motivated you to keep pushing for what you want and what was right?
Because it was the right thing to do. I had a court order, and I was so excited when I got that court order. I took the bus back to my mom's house, and I called them up, and they said, "Oh, that car was sold a month ago." And I was like, no, that's not right. So that's when I contacted Kevin, and he tried to help me get it back. And I just kept pushing, and I would actually call Lincoln Towing and say, "I want my car back." And they never returned my call, so I just kept fighting.
Kept fighting for what's right. And Danny, how did you first find Amanda, and how did this story kind of come about before you wrote the article?
So I was had been writing this whole series of sort of towing horror stories, people getting $1,000, $2,000 bills and so forth. And that series had kind of run its course, and then, as she said, her legal aid attorney, Kevin Eggers, called me up and said, "I've got a towing horror story for you." And he said, "You're not going to believe it," and I kind of didn't. But I went there, and I was actually in court the day that they won the car back after a year of fighting for it. And I don't know, the story to me was that they sold it, that she just mentioned, for $175. So that was the value of the car, $175. And yet they were trying to charge her $21,600 in storage fees. Yeah, so the whole thing was just entirely out of whack. And to me, it showed how costly it is to be low income in Seattle. Like, if you or I got our car towed, we would just pay the $400 and curse a couple times, and then that would be the end of it. You would spend maybe an hour on it. And this was a year of going through this like legal and bureaucratic nightmare, and the $21,000 bill, which in the end she didn't have to pay. And it was all because at the very beginning she didn't have $400 in cash. And so how many people don't have that?
Right.
You know, quite a few. And
Exactly.
so it just, it showed to me how those of us with money are basically living in an entirely different society.
Definitely, and it sheds light on that. And Amanda, fill us in. We want to know what happened since you got your car back.
I have housing. I have my own apartment. It's a small studio, but it's mine, so I have a roof over my head, and I'm very happy about that.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I also heard your car got stolen a second time. Is that right? What?
I couldn't believe it. Yeah, I looked out my window, and I'm like, where is my car? And I'm like, oh, not again.
Literally, are you being punked?
Yeah,
It must have
exactly.
just felt like.
It's not that great of a car.
Well, they're so easy to steal, so.
I guess we all want to know too, do you still have the 91 Camry too?
In fact, I do. It still runs, but I had to take the battery out so no one would steal it again. So I still have it, yes.
Do you drive that one around, or is that more symbolic? What can you tell me about?
I'm keeping it. It means a lot to me, even though it's not worth anything to anybody else, but it means something to me, so I'm keeping it.
What would you say to Danny and your lawyer as well, just for everything that they've done for you?
I'm just so grateful, beyond grateful that this has all happened to me. In fact, when this all started, after I found out the car had been sold, I'm an alcoholic, so I was drinking, and I decided, okay, am I going to fight this when I'm still drinking like this, or I think I should go to rehab. So I went to rehab, gave it over to Kevin, and spent a month in rehab, and I've been sober for 8 years.
Congratulations. Thank you both so much for being here today. This was fantastic.